For those who just want to hear my thoughts regarding the Super Robot Wars cross trailer, feel free to skip ahead to this time code. Otherwise, I can't be the only one wondering what the heck Miku's condition is, right?
I mean, yeah, in the long run, it's probably nothing all that important for the show at large, but much like Akira in this episode, my older sister is trying to become a doctor, so I just feel like I have to ask too.
Though in my sister's case, she's not doing it to fix me up or anything like that, no. She just wants to rub her diploma in the faces of the many quack doctors in our state. Yeah, piece of advice, don't get sick in Hawaii, we have terrible health coverage.
The episode opens with young Akira trying to play with Miku, only to remember that she was still hospitalized even back then. Which is a little confusing to me as there's supposed to be an 8-year gap between the sisters. We even see them together later and they don't look that much different. What, was Akira like 13 in that flashback, and then when she entered high school she went through a drastic growth spurt or something?
Anime's greatest weakness has and always will be representing proper female anatomy.
Anyway, back in the present, Miku was curious as to what sort of career path Akira would take, pointing out how she was pretty much a Jane of all trades. And as I pointed out, she wanted to become a doctor, or to be more precise, a medical researcher, so that she could find a cure to conditions like Miku's, whatever Sam Hill it is. Miku was against this, as in her eyes, Akira was throwing away her future for her, and would just live a sad, lonely life if she kept taking care of her. Eliseo somehow gets wind of this, and calls the little girl and mentally scars her.
A few minutes later, Chris Hansen called him back and said he wanted to have a seat and have a little talk.
Meanwhile, Ichika was studying for her exams while also practicing her shafting technique. She still got it even after all these episodes. Good on her. Akira ends up helping her with her studies, and while doing so, admires a picture of Ichika's mother, a person who she would soon be emulating. Unfortunately, this still didn't sit well with Miku, who was soon abducted by Eliseo. Damn it, Hansen, you're starting to get slow in your old age. Panicked, Akira splits off from the rest of the team, allowing Eliseo to isolate her. Though, thankfully, the others would soon join her, because the real hero of the show, Ryo, manages to figure out that Miku was abducted to Noir's world through the phone lines based off of a testimony from a nurse. He, off-screen, tells them how to get to this world. Yeah, unfortunately, we never find out how they get there. I don't know, maybe Ryo still has residual connection to that world, or maybe he knows a special number they have to call, or maybe he owns a TARDIS, I don't know. Hopefully they'll fill in this blank in a later episode. Anyway, Akira tries taking on Eliseo on her own, and of course he puts on another ridiculous outfit.
I think the most defining aspect of this whole arc has been Eliseo's obsession with cosplay. I mean, dude, it's cool if you want to share your hobbies with others, just keep it on the down low. Or else Toei's gonna make you the villain of the next Akiba Ranger season. Again, that actually might be more of a promotion than anything else.
They have a sword fight with Akira using the tastiest looking sword I've ever seen. It's a short fight that's kind of bland without any ridiculous beam battles to accent it. And it's put to the side anyway, as Eliseo had used Miku's depression to create a giant snowman monster.
Just want to make sure, this isn't playing before a new Pixar movie or anything like that, right? Or else we're gonna get a lot of needless controversy.
The even more evil Olaf sucks Akira in and forces her to realize the negative repercussions brought upon by her overbearing nature. It's honestly a fairly effective scene showing how the sisters had essentially trapped themselves in an endless cycle of misery. Too bad it's resolved rather abruptly, with Akira just instantly shaking off Eliseo's influence and saying that her loneliness gave her strength and fueled her love.
So she uses a negative emotion to fuel what she defines as love. Back away, devil! Back! Back! Back!
She tells Miku that her career path was completely of her own choosing, as she wanted to not only help Miku, but as many children in the world with similar unexplained ailments. They break free and, as usual, use a team attack to ruin yet another one of Eliseo's cosplays. They escape through a bunch of TARDIS before the world seemingly collapses, though Noir just puts it right back together, saying that such insignificant light wouldn't take down his darkness.
Yeah, dude, we know where you're going with all this light and darkness junk. Just wake me up when Wreck-It Ralph joins the roster.
So the episode ends with Miku back safe and sound and able to enjoy the Kia Party's latest attraction, an outdoor kotatsu. Oh, better make sure Kazuma doesn't learn about it.
Well, that was a very plain episode. I mean, there was nothing really offensively wrong with it. aside from maybe Creeper Alicio, but there was also nothing really standoutish about it. Kind of like Akira's own signature suite.
Okay, let me just say this. I really like the Kenjo sisters. They're just cute together. I especially love how they try to look out for one another. We've seen Miku try to help her sister in spite of her health issues, and we've seen Akira try her best to take care of Miku in spite of the many hats she wears. Which then led into what I thought was a great concept for a conflict in this episode. How far is too far when it comes to being selfless? When does it start becoming an unhealthy relationship for both parties involved? These were some of the core concepts of Doki Doki Precure that I really would have liked to have seen brought into this series. Too bad the execution here was nowhere near as good as it was in Doki Doki. I mean, granted, this was more of a subplot here than a major theme, but it still felt really rushed with Akira just gaining her second wind after saying something that makes me want to say, honestly, I'm not completely sure how to feel about this episode. On the one hand, again, I like the Kenjo sisters and thought this was at least a logical conclusion to their arc, but the execution felt really lacking. I get what they were going for and I didn't hate it, so I guess I'll meet them in the middle and say it was okay.
With that, the Precure portion of my review is over, and now I'm just going to shift over to my thoughts regarding the first trailer of the upcoming Super Robot Wars Cross game. Now, the reason I didn't make this its own separate video was, 1, I didn't think I had enough to fill an adequate amount of time, and 2, I've had bad experiences when dealing with the YouTube bots whenever I use clips from Bandai Namco's game trailers. Still, I have got to request to give my thoughts, so may as well just do it here. So, when I first saw this trailer, my initial reaction was pretty much, eh. I mean, don't get me wrong, a lot of my personal favorites are on the roster, Code Geass, Cross Ange, Gurren Lagann, and yet, no Shingeki Robo? Come on, Banpresto, we saw Ryoma and Kamina butt heads in the Hakkaihen, and you're going to deny us more of that? But I digress. It's honestly a great roster, headlined by the returns of the Hainu Gundam and the Majin Kaiser, which will more than likely give us an awesome Kaiser vs. Zero fight. Though if Zero does join the good guys again, wouldn't that mean that Koji has access to 2 of the strongest super robots in existence? Okay, you're just showing off at this point, dude. I mean, I suppose Tetsuya could pilot the Kaiser, but why would you ever want to take him out of the Emperor, which I am very happy to see return. As for the new series, I'm only really familiar with one of them, Nadia, and really, who around my age isn't familiar with Nadia? Though on that note, isn't that a really odd addition? I mean, at least with Yamato, that was a space opera, and while Nadia does have sci-fi elements, it's still a series that looks very out of place when lined up with the insanity of Gurren Lagann and, heaven forbid, Cross Ange. Oh, Miyazaki-sensei would be even more ticked off than usual if he knew that something he wrote was sharing screen time with a Mito Fukuda production. Again, don't get me wrong, I love Nadia and look forward to seeing my childhood icon again. It's just weird is all. But yeah, sorry to say I really can't talk about stuff like Bite Complex, Gundam Reconquista, or Machine Hero Wataru because I haven't seen any of them. Again, this is part of why I didn't think I was really qualified to do a full-on video of this. The animations, to me at least, don't look that much different than Z3 and V. Maybe a little smoother, sorry I can't show it here, and I do expect them to touch it up before the release. Honestly, a lot of what I could say here, I've already pretty much said in my SRWV reactions, so if you want more, go check out those. In particular, how much I really enjoy the trashiness of this show. Other expectations I have for this game, though, I would like to see, aside from Zero versus Kaiser, would be this Zero versus Ange.
Seriously, Lelouch and Ange are a lot alike, being royal brats who got screwed over by their respective families. So I'd really like to see some banter between the two to make up for the lack of Ryoma versus Kamina. Also, without spoiling anything, I think an alliance between Charles and Embryo would just make a lot of sense based off of their respective power sets and goals.
I also hope the Anti-Spirals get a little bit of a better role than they did in the Jigoku-hen. Truth is, I think they're still sulky about that. But yeah, those are my initial thoughts of this game. I have my expectations set to about medium. If the game does fulfill at least a couple of my dream bookings, then I can at least walk away satisfied. I'll definitely pre-order my copy with some of my Christmas money, and I will make a full-on review. Until then though, farewell for now, my friends.